Hey there, my name is Shanel. I am the manager over at De La Soul Yoga Studios as well as one of the teachers. And today I wanted to talk to you about kind of creating your own space for your home practice. So whether that's an actual dedicated space or just a space that you can move into to do your practice, we're gonna just talk about props and setting a space up for yourself. So I'm coming to you from where I do my home practice. When I teach a Zoom class, I teach it from my living room because I need that much space to be able to set up the camera and to be able to give a good picture for you guys. But when I practice, this is the space I practice from. This is my foyer at my home, so the hallway. It's great because there's very little things in this hallway. I have put all my props in the corners so that they're waiting there for me for when I need to practice. And of course, I've got my Disney wall behind me, which is something that I always like to stare at, and it brings joy to me, so it's a nice place for me to practice. As well, I do like the lighting in this space. I teach typically from a dimmed room, and that's kind of how I like to practice as well. I get beautiful natural light from the doorway, but I don't have to turn on the overhead lights, which feels really good for me. So maybe when you're picking your practice space, you pick a space that can create a real ambiance for you. Maybe you find a space that has some plants, if you like that. Maybe you have some candles. Even those battery operated ones are great. Maybe you can light some incense. Again, maybe you can dim the lights as well, because that's a great way to just create an ambiance for yourself before you begin to practice. Now, it's really important to try to find a space where you can find maybe privacy or just some less distractions. Turning off the TV, maybe putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. If you have kiddos like I do, maybe shooing them off to watch a movie, or outside is even better, or into the rooms, or doing it after they go to bed, which is always a great idea as well. So trying to remove as many distractions as you can from this space. I know for myself, one of my biggest distractions when I go to do a home yoga practice is I seem to notice all the things in my house that need to be cleaned. So that little bit of extra dust on the shelf, or the fingerprints on the TV, or a dust bunny underneath of the couch. So that is another reason why this hallway is a perfect space for me. It gets swept on a regular basis. There's no dust bunnies, and there's nothing that I can typically find that will distract me from my practice. Unlike in my living room or in my bedroom, where I find things that need to be cleaned. Everybody has their own thing, right? Now, one of the things that also helps me to find kind of a little more privacy, or just kind of a little slip away, is I like to put on my headphones when I practice. So I have like Bluetooth over the ear headphones that don't slip off while I'm practicing. And I will often wear those. So I play my music from my phone and in through the headset so that I can't hear what's going on around me. And it just allows me to kind of escape a little bit better. Now, music can be really important for your practice if that's something that's really important to you. So of course, you can play music off your phone. Spotify and Apple have some great playlists as well. Maybe you have a little speaker, or maybe you have headphones that you enjoy wearing as well when you're doing your practice to help you kind of escape from things a little bit. Now let's talk about props. I, of course, am a yoga teacher, so I have a lot of props in my home, as you can see to this side, that I've just kind of collected over the years that help me to do a home practice. So I have a bolster, I have a meditation cushion, which is great for practicing. I've got some yoga tune-up balls, my strap, a blanket, blocks, and a knee pads. So I have lots of different things at home, but just because you are at home doesn't mean you have to go out and buy these things to help you to have the things that you need to practice. So maybe instead of a meditation cushion, you grab the pillows or even the couch cushions off your couch to use for those supports. Bolsters, you can try rolling up your blanket to turn it into a bolster to put underneath of your knees or down your back. Again, couch cushions make great bolsters because they tend to be really firm. So if you're doing like a reclined shavasana and you want something on an angle, then definitely a couch cushion works great for that. Another option I've done here is I've just taken a bath towel and I've taken 2 hair elastics and put them on either end. So it's just rolled up with the hair elastics there to make a bolster. So this would be great underneath of your neck, or you could use it under your knees while you're doing your practice. It's great. A towel or a blanket also is great cushioning under your knees or back when you're doing your practice. Another great thing for cushioning is if your kids have bean bags, those can work really well, or even little stuffies. If you've got like really flat stuffies, those can work well, although we all know kids don't always want to share those. And this is another great thing. If you've ever seen, you can see them at the dollar store and that, and they're just knee cushions for doing gardening. Sometimes they're like kind of half the size as well, but these work great if you have any knee issues and stuff that you can lean on them. This one's big enough you could sit on it if you wanted a little more cushioning under your backside if you were doing like a seated meditation. If you don't have yoga tune-up balls, like a tennis ball works. This is my dog's tennis ball, but a tennis ball works great. It's very similar in size and density. A lacrosse ball also works really fantastic for that. Now, if you don't have blocks, a water bottle or even a book. So this is a medical dictionary. I know, strange thing that you would think I have, but I'm a medical intuitive, so it is one of those things I have. So a block on its side, or even down below, you can use as a prop, or your water bottle, making sure it's nice and full and closed. You could also lean on that if you needed to for creating something to stabilize, for sure. So two other things that you probably have in your house that are super easy to use as props for your practice. A wall. If you are practicing and you're close to a wall, you can always use that for support, reaching out to touch it. And then the other thing, which you probably have in your kitchen, is a kitchen chair. This one's a nice sturdy wooden chair, so if you need to use it for support, for finding balance, or even, you know, putting the hands onto the seat for finding balance, that's also a really great option for a prop during your practice. Now, if you don't have a strap, no problem. I'm sure you probably have something around the house you can use as well. Great item is just a belt. So if you have a belt, you can use that around your foot or whatever for doing your stretch. Another great option is just a scarf. This is my winter scarf out of the closet. It's nice and long. Again, you can use it to do your stretch, holding it on to that, or even a necktie works really well. There's kind of some of my tips and tricks for creating your own space. Now, the other thing is the weather is fantastic right now, being summer, so going outside to do your yoga practice is always a great idea too. Remember, if you're headed out in the sun, sunscreen's always a great idea. If it's in the evening, maybe bug spray would be a great idea. And again, dress accordingly. I know a few months ago it was a gorgeous day, still a little cool, so I wore something like this. I had socks on and I had a long sweater on so that I could practice outside, because I just wanted to soak up a little bit of this sunshine. If you have any questions at all about creating your own home yoga practice space, feel free to email us at the studio at info@delasolyoga.com and keep on going with that home practice. We'll see you again in the studio soon.